Warriors season ended Friday, and fallout's already starting. We can talk about the game Friday, what you thought of it, what you think the Warriors needed, what they're going to need more of next year. We can talk about the offseason. It's going to be very interesting. Choices galore. And, for me, Goo, I'll just say, it was a disappointing season. It was. There was a disconnect all year. There was adversity with the punch. They never put a really, really, really good streak together. And it was disappointing. And now you have to look and say, was this season an outlier, or is this kind of what we're going to be looking at if we keep the same team?
Good morning, Steiny.
What's up, my man?
And I need you. I'm leaning on you more
like
now.
Like a flower needs a sign.
Listen, we got good Steiny early. Good sign. Listen, I need you because I'm about to say some things. I'm about to empty my heart. And I'm who you talked about last Friday. I'm a spoiled Warrior fan. I've watched that game on a Mother's Day weekend 3 times because I'm still in denial. But you know what? You hit the nail on the head when you said this team. And I'll ask all the basketball connoisseurs out there to call 888-957-9570 and tell me the last NBA defending champion that left training camp having to deal with Tyson versus Larry Holmes right out the gate. So I say all that to say, Steiny, there's no excuses, but damn, Goo, shame on you for taking the pill and eating it and swallowing it, that the Warriors somehow could get past what they went through early on with the Draymond punch. And now when you want to go finances and books and contracts, I can't find a spot. It was doomed before they got started, man. That's how I really feel.
Yeah, 888-957-9570. We're open all day. We'll have John Dickinson, I believe, at 1 o'clock. He saw every game of the playoffs, every game of the regular season. He was down in L.A. for Game 6, so he's going to be coming up at 1 o'clock. The one thing that
Talk to me.
I will talk to you. The theme for me, okay, is, believe it or not, one of reality. And the reality is this team's had 10, 12 years of incredible success. It's one of the handful of dynasties the league has ever seen. Mm-hmm. Celtics in the 60s, Bulls 80s, Bulls 90s, Lakers 80s. You want to throw the Spurs in there? That's 4. Lakers maybe second one. So top half dozen dynasties in the history of the game. And you just can't be champions forever. You just can't. And there's always going to be an inevitable decline. And what I heard after that game was Steve Kerr and Draymond Green say flatly, we weren't a champion. We're not a championship team. We're not a championship team. So to me, even saying that acknowledges we're at a transition point right now. And it doesn't mean you can't become a championship team next year.
Right.
But I think that's good. I think that's unrealistic too, but that we can talk all about that. But now you got to start figuring out how you stay a top level playoff team, because your 3 big boys are not getting any younger. That's a fact. And we saw proof of that in the series.
Yeah, and you talked about it in the green room. I can let it all out now. The Warriors got basketball love by being able to, they had to go through a bad season to draft James Wiseman. But let's just imagine if James Wiseman was on the track that Anthony Edwards was, and he was young and upcoming, you could see, you know what, we got a lot to be excited for, and still watch Steph Curry play at this excellent level that he's at now. Because the one thing I took out of this playoff run is Steph is still Steph. So Lakeup and company, if that's Lakeup, hopefully it's Myers, Lakeup twice, and Dunleavy. I don't know, Steiny, but everywhere you look right now in the state of the Warriors, there's a question mark. I didn't like Steve Kerr saying we maxed out. Did you?
Why?
I love you, Coach, because there was some stuff you left on the table.
Why?
Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, who didn't play into the playoffs, so he could have been playing all throughout the regular season maybe. Maybe you don't have 11 losses on the road. These are just questions I have. But how can Draymond Green and Coach Kerr go up there to a microphone after you do a no-show in L.A.? You did a no-show in L.A. throughout the whole series, okay? But you just won a chip in June.
Yep.
You gave a scholarship to Andre Iguodala. That could have been a player helping this team, okay? Then nobody knows why Jordan Poole was sulking outside of the punch, but when you put the punch in the sandwich on playing time and punch, you lost him. Like, there's so many question marks about what's going on behind closed doors with this team that doesn't sit well with me, Steiny, and that's why I feel like some guys may be out of here just because you need to have the locker room and all the players on one accord. And the Steph Game 7 speech in Sacramento, I got friends texting me, was that a good or bad thing? And I said, well, why would you say that? And then I thought about it like, well, maybe you lost the young guys because that's who you were singling out. I don't know, but all they owe is Steph Curry the opportunity to get back to the finals because he is still like a fine wine, Steiny, and it's hell. If Bob Myers said he wants to come back, this is going to be calculus. This is going to be trigonometry. There is some stuff in Warrior Land that Einstein would have problems trying to figure out.
Right. And we saw that all year long. We saw it even before the punch. We saw it when Draymond Green apparently said he wanted a max contract before the season ever started. And not only didn't he get a contract extension, they gave one to Wiggins and Poole. So, you know, to me, like, this is one of those things where, you know, they've had this dynasty, and it's been absolutely incredible. And there's just no way around things ending. And things are going to end in different ways, but they're going to end. So when we say, you know, the chemistry and there was a punch and now agenda, it's like, yes, that's what brings franchises down. And here's the thing that, and I don't necessarily want to go down this road too long, but you know, there's no one way that they're going to stay good or get back on top. There's no right thing to do. Your three veteran champions are all getting older. They're veterans by far. All right, your young players are not as effective. Like there's no easy answers here. But the reason everything's so hard is because of the success for the last 12 years. The one opportunity you had to somehow maybe keep it rolling a little bit was through the draft, and you blew it. They blew it with James Wiseman.
Damn.
They blew it, and that's a killer. The James Wiseman thing is going to be the one. And maybe to a lesser degree, Kuminga, but those guys were drafted so that next year, for example, you would say, we're going to be better because Wiseman and Kuminga played this year, and they're just going to get better and better and better. But, but they're not in the team.
And now, for Steiny, nothing you said was wrong or a lie. But what about this Jordan Poole thing that they have on their hands? The dude is not happy. And I understand. And I've been team young guys. I've criticized Kerr because I thought, as fantastic as he is, Steiny, it was too much tough love, and you were going to need. Now Wiseman's gone. Kuminga, what was that? The Declaration of Independence that he put out there, his people put out that I need to play or I'm out, something of that sort. Like that blew me away. That was like an ultra sense of entitlement. Like what happened to youngster first earn it? I mean, you are a newbie, but to go there, I'm like, well, that ain't going to go well. That ain't going to go over well. And this Jordan Poole thing, who I still think, Steiny, you could get something for, but why would you subject your basketball team, if Dre is to remain here, and that's a big if because we don't know his plans, you got to be in the same page in the locker room. And that's what this Warrior culture, since this Steph Curry run, that's what they've been about, brotherhood. And somehow Dre tainted that. So if we're going to sit here and expect him to run it back, Jordan Poole can't come back to this. He's shown you he's a shell of himself. And I felt bad for him at every turn. And then when you needed him, maybe game 6, Friday night in L.A., he's got more fouls than field goal attempts. That ain't the Jordan Poole we saw get the bag. And Draymond Green, I'm not blaming you, but thank you. And if you want to know what for, showing me you were the junkyard dog in game 5, but game 6 you were a no-show.
And I guess I really want to, like, how can you be mad? Why are you mad about this?
They were defending champs.
And defending a champion. Like, this is at the essence of it. How can you be mad about this year? They've won 4 titles. They were trying to defend their title. They had adversity start to finish. They didn't get it done. Like, they weren't a championship team from the get-go until the time they were eliminated. They are a dynasty. It's starting to come to an end. You cannot get mad at it. It is the natural evolution of sports. Draymond Green is no longer the same player.
Okay,
Klay Thompson is no longer the same player. Steph Curry, as great as he is, has had a little bit of slippage.
But he's still top 5.
That's
Donnie.
great. But why are we getting mad? This is what happens.